Today in our live coverage, we also have an expert responsible for the assembly of the cruise liner to give us more introduction about the assembling. Good afternoon, everyone. So this is the first time we do the live streaming in the warehouse. How do you feel in these 2 days? How's the preparation? Does that mean that you can take a break? No, actually we are quite busy. Because right now we still have a great amount of parts. We have to assemble all the parts on the cruise liner. And also, we have to prepare all the parts. They have to go to the cruise liners, and we have to process all the parts in this warehouse. So thank you so much for your time for this live streaming, so we get to understand how this whole system works. So first of people may be curious about this logistics center. I believe that this logistics center is built solely for this domestic-made cruise liner. This is a sophisticated work. So for the cruise liner, for all the supplies and also for the parts, it has altogether about 25 million units, which is 5 times of a homemade aircraft in China, for example, the C919. And for the 25 million parts, we need to do the logistics work, and also we have to put it into the warehouse. We always talk about for the cruise liner, it's just like a city in the ocean. That means we need a lot of materials, a lot of components and parts. Can you tell us more about the size of the parts? What is the biggest one and what is the smallest one? So for the smallest one, it's just like a screw. And for the biggest one, so for the major parts, for example, the engine, it is very heavy. It is about like 200 tons. In this area, we don't have that capacity to store all of these engines. I believe for the whole building of the ship, it takes over 30 months. I think it is a big task for you to receive and process all of these parts and components. Yes, indeed, it is a big challenge for us, and we have done a lot of research and preparation. At the beginning, we learned some of the experience from the building of a cruise liner in Japan. We learned some lessons, and also we try to dive into the topic on how to build a domestic-made cruise liner. We have done 3 areas of work because we are facing with a very sophisticated system. So first, we have brought in a very intelligent warehousing system. Just take a look at this one. It just looks like an elevator. I believe in this stacking area, we are putting a lot of smaller size of parts inside of stacking areas. Yes, we are putting some of the treasures and expensive units in this area, because in this area it is quite safe. And also we are emphasizing the idea of the vertical warehousing. So if the warehouse is big enough, and then we are able to do the stacking for all this warehousing. We have 6 stacking areas in this warehouse, and what others? And also we are trying to build a heavy-scale stacking system. So for this stacking system, actually it is the first self-developed stacking system in China. I want to emphasize the idea of a heavy-scale stacking system. So for each area, we are able to stack the products up to 6 tons of weight. So in this warehouse, we have a huge amount of parts and units, and it covers a variety of categories. So we just talked about we have over 25 million of parts comprising this cruise liner. And actually, in the system, it shows that we have around like 537 sets of the products. And also, we have the delivery package from different suppliers. This is also a huge amount of work. So we have like 102 10K package. So I would like to use an example for this cruise liner. We have to import from Italy. We need to bring in 1,300 sets of the containers with the size of about like 40 inches. So it actually poses a great challenge for us for the storage and also the processing. It is quite a challenge for us. So how to do to improve the efficiency for the warehousing? I think we have to consider multiple factors. So just now we talked about the cruise liner that has been built from Japan. If you pay attention to that issue, and we believe that you are aware that there may be some limitation and restriction for that cruise liner. For example, the Diamond Princess is actually built from that Japanese company. Because of the cost issues for the whole cruise liner is quite expensive. So right now we are going to learn more about this logistics system for the Chinese-made cruise ship. And later on, I would like to bring in another guest to show us more about this procedure. All right, now, thank you, Mr. Zheng. Now we are moving to the storage area. Ms. Zhang Xin will tell us more about the procedures. Before the live coverage, actually we are wearing this like band. So can you tell us more about this band? So for this one, it's very intelligent because it could navigate my position, and also you could show where you are in this assembly center. Some people are asking, what is this assembling center? How does it work? So behind me, when you look at the screen, you can see we're actually in this warehousing with the size over 9,000 square meters. And also here on the screen, you could see the 3D manifestation of the whole processing center and the assembly center. This is more like a virtual format of the warehouse. And also we are able to see some of the figures. Can you tell us more about the meaning of the figures? So first, when we look at the statistics about the size, you could see the size of the warehouse. Now you could see how many spaces have been used and how many vacant spaces. So among the 8,616 square meters, most of these warehouses are actually being stored with the mechanical and electrical products. So most of the area in the cruise liner is actually contained with the mechanical and the electrical products. And also we are seeing a delivery plan. For example, we are showing some of the number of the items and also showing the exact description of the materials, the production date, and the estimation of the arrival time. And also we are showing like how long for all of these products and materials being stayed in the warehouse. So as for the arrival time for the units, it also affects the whole building procedures of the cruise liner. On the left side, you are showing some of the inbound and the outbound information for the warehouse. We just talked about we have over 25 million parts and units. We need to manage all of these parts effectively, we have this huge amount of the parts, so it takes a lot of effort to manage all the products, especially if we only rely on human beings. That's why we bring in this intelligent system. By having this system, we understand the inbound and outbound situation, all the parts, so we know whether we collected all the parts. So as long as we scan the QR code, we can get access to all this information. And also we're able to put some of our plans in this area, so we understand what is the current progress. And you could see what is the situation on different stages. So you just talk about, you concern a lot about the type of the materials. And on this table, you're able to see the information of all the materials and the products. And also for each workers, they will get to understand what are those products and how long it takes for them to process all of these products. So before I show you the whole process, I would like to show you this map. Now I would like to show you this wristband, and also I have my ID number. So from this screen, you could see a 3D image. So me standing here, and also we have two visitors. So these visitors, they're journalists because they also wear the wristband. So for example, the number 2 visitor, so he is the camera guy. Because for this wristband, it can also relate us to the actual situation. So for all of these machines, we can also track the status of these machines, and also we are able to save some of the man cost, human cost. So now I would like to invite you to show us how this warehouse works. Because of the specialty of these parts of the cruise liner, so we are able to build a very intelligent system to manage all of these parts. So for example, for each part, we have this delivery schedule, and first of all, we have to receive all the parts, and then we have to process the parts. When the production department process all of these parts, they will also update the information about the status of these parts and units. So here now we are seeing one box is ready to enter into our warehouse. So this is also a mechanical and electrical product. So the number is 1508. What does that mean? Actually, I'm not sure about the meaning of that number, because the 1508 represents this cruise ship, the Adora Magic City. So when we see the electrical products numbered 1508, meaning that this product belongs to the Adora Magic City. So now I would like to step inside of this intelligent warehouse to see how does all the equipment work. So just take a closer look on this box. So when we receive all the materials and we are receiving it in a box, in a container, so actually for all the materials, actually it may comprise of tens of thousands of boxes. So first, we will check on the list and also the receipt of these parts. And also there is a barcode on this box. And for this box, they are numbered by certain sequence, and also we have certain numbers for the location of the warehouse. So this is the original package. So for our work staff, actually, we are using the RMP warehousing system. So all of these are done paperless. So first of all, we need to scan the QR code, and we have to upload the information of these boxes into our system. So for our staff here, we have to receive and upload all the information of each one of these boxes. So right now he is scanning the code. And also we have to take some photos. And we also need to scan the framework and the structure of this box. Then we are able to get the length, width, and also the height of this box. And on the other side, from the screen, actually you could also see the size of this container, and also you're able to get to know the information about this package. And as we already scanned the code of that box, we also get to know what are the components inside of the package. So for the cruise liners, for each components and the parts, we need to manage the weight. So before we bring in the package into the warehouse, we need to manage the gross weight. So we have to do a first screening before all of these packages enter into the warehouse. So as we all know, for this cruise liner, actually it is quite high. And a few days ago, we are going through a lot of tests to make sure that the cruise liner is safe. For example, we did the inclining test to make sure the stability of the cruise liner. So first, after we completed the weighting of the package, what other things we need to do? So after our manager receives the information, and then they're able to unbox this package. So if the weight is very heavy, and then we may have a number of people to help with the unboxing. But for this one, you could see it's quite tiny. And also we need to stick the QR code inside of the products. So sometimes when we receive a large package, and then we may receive like hundreds of products, we have to stick the QR code to each one of those pieces. So when we have the QR code coming into these products, then it is more effective for us to manage all of these parts and the units. So by having the QR code, we are able to better manage the assembly process of the cruise liner. Because after all these units and products enter into the warehouse, and they are all moving parts. So we have to get to know where are they. And this is a whole process tracking of all of these units. So before we deliver all the units to the cruise liner, we have to track every step of all of these parts. We need to know the status and the condition of all the parts. And also for the production department, they also get access to the condition of all the parts. Later on, they are able to come up with their plans on the building of the ship. So in general, we are trying to sort all of these parts out and put it in certain places of the warehouse. So for this logistics center, actually we are supporting the production or the manufacturing department. We are offering a lot of guarantee for their future work. So after we check on all the parts and units, and after we stick the QR code for those parts, and then these packages are ready to go into the warehouse. So for this one, for example, it is a little bit heavy, and we need to move this package to other areas. So all in all, we are using the RMP, the intelligent system, to manage all the units and the packages. And for the sake of the security, we have to build this intelligent system to help us to improve the efficiency. So right now we are taking full advantage of information technology, so it could help us to save some of the manpower. And also we are also bringing in a lot of intelligent algorithms to manage the inbound and the outbound of the parts and the units. So actually, it is more like a learning platform to better manage the parts and the units. So maybe in the future, we are able to get to know more about the conveniences that have been brought by all of this intelligent system. So I believe in the future, you may have more systems to support the existing one. So earlier in the live streaming, actually, Mr. Zhang gave us a lot of introduction about the stacking system. So he said for the units that have been stored in this stacking system, they are expensive and treasures parts. So now you just heard the alarm because I put my hand inside of the stacking system. So we have 6 stacking systems all together. So for all of these products and units, they can be stored in a vertical shape. So for each trail, it could live up to the weight of about 500 kilograms. So we have around over 50 layers of the trail. For the height between the trails is about the 80 centimeters, but we can adjust it according to our needs. And also we have this small trailer to help us to move all of these parts. Maybe you could have a try. So I stand here, and if you insert certain instructions, and then actually these little cards can go with you. Now you could see for this smart cart or trolley, you could actually follow your steps. This can make sure that all of the parts and units are safe. So what happens if I stop? It's quite intelligent indeed. So when I move, this trolley will move. So this is quite amazing. So how many trolleys we have in this warehouse? Actually, this is a very technological innovation. Right now, we only have 2 trolleys, but in the future, we will be able to have more trolleys. Right now, I have to disconnect with this small trolley. So what about this one? So for the assembling center, we are also responsible for the delivery. So for this small car, it will also help with the delivery services. For example, for different departments, they may have different needs of the parts and the units. For some people, if they're staying in the office building, they're not able to come to the warehouse to collect the units. And then we have this logistic car. We can actually plan the route inside of this one. So it is more like an unmanned and intelligent car, and also for the people who are in need of some of the products, they could just scan the code and get what they need. So for this driverless car, we have like two sensors. And for these two sensors, it could detect the barriers. And also we are having some design to protect the obstruction of this driverless car. So maybe in the future, we are able to see this car in the cruise liner. Yes, I think it is possible, because right now we already insert the map of our factory or our shipyard inside of this driverless car. I believe in the future, in the cruise liner, we may be able to equip with this driverless car. So because a few days ago I actually went to visit the shipyard, I think we have to be concentrated because there's a lot of parts, a lot of things involved in the warehouse. And I think if we have all these intelligent driverless cars, it could free our hands and also improve the efficiency of the management of the whole warehouse. So how do you feel in these 2 days? Because tomorrow is the day for the undock. Well, I'm quite excited because for our department, we have pretty much get involved in the whole process. Most of the parts and the products has been sent to the cruise liner. I'm quite excited about tomorrow. A few days ago, before we see the cruise ship come out of the shipyard, I also see some of our staff, they actually taken pictures with the cruise liner because we are getting involved from day one of the building of the cruise liner. It takes like 30 months for us to build this ship. How do you feel? Well, actually at the beginning I feel quite nervous because it is the first domestic-made cruise liner. But we are quite united, and different departments, they work together and try to build this ship. I think this is thanks to the concerted efforts, because we're actually basically from 0 to 1. I think it is quite a challenging task for different departments, and also we have to work with different suppliers, which involve a huge amount of parts. For different parts of the cruise liner, it have different functionalities. That means we need to cover different vendors and suppliers. It is a big challenge for all of us. As we just talked about the 10K package, this is quite technical. We have to work closely with the technicians and also the staff and figure out how to use all of these parts and units. And during the live streaming, some of the viewers are saying, as we have over 25 million units and parts, so how many people you have in your company? We have 400 people in total, but we only have 100 people to manage these 25 million parts and units for the cruise liner. So you could see how effective it is and how intelligent it is for this logistics center. So right now, I believe everyone is quite busy, like handling all the parts and the units. So in the future, I believe we have more tasks going on in this logistics center. We have Mr. Xu joining us to give us more introduction. So I'm the director for the assembling center in Waigaoqiao Shipyard. So I'm also responsible for manage the parts and deliver the parts of the cruise liner of the ship. So based on my understanding, the lady was responsible to deliver the different parts in different places of the warehouse. So what about your task? So for my task, we are responsible for the management of the key components of the cruise liner. So after we sort out all of these parts and units, we will do a package. So the lady will help to send all of these products to the cruise liner. So I could understand you are the logistics center and Miss Zhang is basically the delivery guy, right? Yes. So can you tell us more about your job? So here now we are in the assembly center, and also in this area it is what we call a traditional storage area. As Ms. Zhang said, we also use a lot of intelligence system to manage all the parts and the units. And when we are building this warehouse, we are pretty much focused on the idea of intelligence. With the development of the information technology, and we have to be more intelligent in our management. And this is basically our goal in the future. So can you tell us more about the future prospects? So now we may pay a visit to a warehouse, another warehouse for the future cruise liner ship. So Mr. Xu, so what are some of the tasks you are working on in these 2 days? We still have to focus on the delivery of the cruise ship. We are doing some last-minute preparation, for example, the preparation of the parts and the units. Everything is in order. So now we are coming to what we call a future warehouse. Now we are seeing a lot of the stacks here. Can you tell us more about this? So in this warehousing area, it is more than 6,000 square meters. So for all the stacks, it's ready. You could see it is quite vertical in general. And also we try to capture every inch of the area of this warehouse. So now you could see we have like so many shelves here. We have to make good use of every inch of the space and to make it vertical so that we are able to store more products and units into this area. And also there is an animation here showing what is the future warehouse look like. Because in the warehouse we have just visited, we understand we have about 100 people. They have to come to the site to manage the parts and units and serve the cruise liner. But in the future, it is more automatic. So for example, you are able to see some of these automatic transmission belts. This is the inbound process. So for some of the workers, they don't have to come to the site because by having all these intelligent systems, we are able to see where are these packages, where are the units, and we understand how this heavy stacking system works. Also, we are able to see the conditions and monitor the situation of these materials and supplies. So for each trail, we also need to maximize the usage of the trailer. We are able to see where are these vacant spaces. So this warehouse is more intelligent. I think it is a +1 version of the previous one. Now we are going upstairs to see more of this smart warehouse. So, Mr. Xu, how do you feel in these 2 days? Because the cruise ship is about to undock in Shanghai. So right now we are approaching to the delivery time. We are quite excited, because for this cruise liner, it is the first giant domestic-made vessel. We consider this cruise liner the apple of the eye. And right now we are approaching to the delivery date. We are quite excited about it. And also for the cruise liner, it will also be berthed in ports number 5 and number 4. And soon we will have to go through the procedure of the outfitting. So what does that mean? This means for some of the iron pieces and iron parts, we have to make sure that all of those pieces are ready and installed onto the cruise liner. So still a heavy task for our team. And also we are talking about a lot of the artifacts and also the bedding systems, and also we also have some expensive items need to be brought into the cruise liner. So for example, some of the art pieces also need to be brought into the cruise liner. So after all of these products enter into the cruise liner, and then we will say the delivery phase is coming to the end. And also we will have the trial trip in the future. I believe still you may have faced a lot of challenges in the upcoming months. So right now we are able to see the intelligent system that you have been made for this first cruise liner. So maybe in the future you will endeavor to build more smart system for the cruise liner. And this also comes to the end for today's live streaming. Can you share with us your mood? So when we are able to board on the cruise liner? Well, the date for the delivery is about November after we complete the delivery. Actually, myself is also quite excited and looking forward to board the cruise liner with my children, with my family. I'm pretty much excited about that. I also welcome the viewers to board the first domestic-made cruise liner. Yes, indeed. That is the first one made by China. So just make sure that you pay a personal visit to the cruise liner and experience how it feels. Now it comes to the end to today's live streaming. If you have any questions, make sure you leave a comment. And stay tuned with us, because tomorrow it is the ceremony for us to undock in Shanghai.